And let's go on with our first presentation. Saila, she works at DG Connect at the Data Value Chain Unit, and her tasks include the management of different projects financed from the European Commission, language projects, but also the European Language Resource Coordination Unit. And she's the perfect person to speak to us today. She will start her first presentation today on the multilingualism in Europe, the European Union, and she will also talk about why the European Commission has decided to support the creation of machine translation.
Yeah, So as Jana said, I have myself worked as a translator for a long time and also as a terminologist. And I'm also a representative of one of these complicated languages, which is Finnish, so close to your language. Now I will talk about a bit of the history and framework and how we ended up to today of trying to develop language technologies in Europe. So the linguistic diversity in European Union is a officially recognized fact. So there are 24 official EU languages and about 60 major regional or minority languages in Europe. And to protect Europe's language diversity, there are treaties and charters which clearly state that linguistic and cultural diversity have to be protected. And also there's protection against discrimination based on language, among other things. And also the citizens have the right to address the EU in their own language and to get answers in their own language. Also, all binding EU legislation is published in all official EU languages, as you know. So the European commitment to multilingualism is certainly there, and it has always been there. We also support initiatives, or we have set the goal that all European citizens should be able to speak at least 2 languages besides their own language. It's a rather ambitious goal. And also we support multilingualism through encouraging foreign language learning and exchange programs in universities like Erasmus and other similar programs. And certainly these measures contribute to European integration process and increase mutual understanding of citizens, but this is not enough to remove the language barriers, especially if we think of fragmentation of online space and multilingual websites and the digital world. These goals are not really sufficient. So the EU has supported quite extensively also research and innovation projects in the area of language technologies, starting from Framework Programme 6, Framework Programme 7, CIP, which is Competitiveness and Innovation Programme, and the current program is called Horizon 2020. And the overall funding up to now has been over 200 million euros of funding for language technologies. So, and the portfolio by far portfolio of actions has covered areas ranging from machine translation, computer-assisted translation, multilingual publishing, speech recognition, dialogue systems, and multilingual analytics. And we have also been supporting the use of language technologies in public administrations. And as Andres explained in the Directorate General for Translation, DGT, a few years have already been spent in developing the MT at EC service, which is up and running and available to many entities already. And the next step would be the CEF automated translation platform. So the MT at EC would be used as a basis for developing further this service. And the CEF program, as Andres also mentioned, Connecting Europe Facility program is deploying mature language technologies, and our DG Connect implements focused deployment actions under this program. So here we see that the European communities, which was the predecessor of the European Union, started with only 4 official languages, and now we have today 6 times more languages and 46 times more language pairs. So there are 552 language pairs to translate between. And at the same time, the volumes of text to be translated has multiplied, and translations are needed more and more quickly. There are, for example, cases where online conversation situations should be covered by translation. I mean, it's really instantaneous. The needs are sort of getting more, in terms of volume and speed, there's an ever increasing need. And to respond to this, we inevitably need better tools for translators to improve their efficiency, and we also need to automate some tasks. So now we are 24 languages. Another initiative which is relevant for this initiative, for this effort of automated translation, is the digital single market, which is, the Commission gave a communication on this subject, on the strategy of digital single market, and it was published by Vice President Andrus Ansip and Commissioner Günther Oettinger the 5th of May 2015. And this strategy sets up an ambitious agenda to fill the missing link of the single market and to respond to rapidly growing importance of digital market in Europe. So there are still a number of barriers that hamper the achievement of the digital single markets, like legal, institutional, and cultural barriers. But the language barriers are the most obvious ones. If a website is not available in a language of a person, and the person doesn't understand the language which is there, of course that person won't use that website, won't buy any products, so the online market is fragmented by language. There have been Eurobarometer surveys and other surveys where it has been discovered that most of European consumers prefer to browse websites in their own language, and most of the languages of the web shops are monolingual, and also multilingual internet users do not necessarily buy products or services in language which is not theirs. So the language barriers affect both private and public services, and the digital public sector is part of the DSM strategy. Connecting Europe facility was established by a regulation of 2013. And as Andres also mentioned, there are different strands in this huge program. You have like transportation networks, energy, and telecommunications is the one under which this CEF digital goes. And it's about pan-European digital service infrastructures which are cross-border infrastructures in the field of, for example, justice, procurement, health, digital library, and then open data portal. These are examples of DSIs. And it is a deployment program. We only want to use mature technologies. And the automated translation platform is a so-called building block of these DSIs. It serves all of them. So, what is needed to make pan-European public online services possible? The CEF program supports emergence of digital single markets. It has to be multilingual because pan-European public services address the whole EU, and there is no lingua franca among public administrations in Europe, unfortunately. So, and less than half of Europeans know any English. So these are the facts that we have to live with. And one cannot assume a working level command of English or another common language if administrators from two countries need to work together. So citizens do want to use their own language, and they have the right to do so when using public services online. Human translation is always needed, and as we know, these technologies can probably never, they will never solve, human translations will never be thrown out of the market or of the business. This is also a fact, especially for such difficult languages as ours. But since the volumes are so huge and the needs are so extensive, we do need to try to do our best to enable the multilingual services and multilingual communication. So, yeah, it's, let's say, human translation, translators' work can become different from what it is now, and there are certain fields where technologies alone can be helpful enough to solve certain multilingual challenges. So we are not claiming that the whole solution or the whole problem will be solved by this CEF automated translation platform. It's only part of the solution. So the goal is to make public digital services equally usable by all EU users and to facilitate cross-border information exchange. So what is then the role of the member states in all this? CEF will support all member states to improve the quality of translation, and member states have a crucially important role as they know best what is required and what is the reasonable level of quality of their language when translated automatically for any given purpose. You know best and what is the required level in order to make it happen. And also, you know the best what are the needs of the citizens and companies as users of CEF public services. You can also offer valuable raw material for developing automated solutions, and with this material we can make the automated translation of your language better. I think we have covered. So you are expected to take ownership of your own language in this initiative. We cannot do it for you. The advantages of CEF80 for member states are that you will have an automated translation service free of charge for your administrations. You can use it to translate documents, messages, snippets of text, and so on, and it enables sharing of information and better understanding in a secure environment. This is also important. The security is here also guaranteed. It's not like Google Translate, where you sort of give away to the whole world your data. And it will also make pan-European public services more accessible to your citizens and administrators, and for example, the companies in your country can participate in calls for tenders in other EU countries more easily, and also your citizens can find out about their rights in the EU, in other EU countries, file complaints, access legal documents, and so on. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing the rest of what you're going to say during the rest of the day. Please ask if you have anything or comments.
Anto is my name. Anto is my name, and I want to depart a little bit aside from politically correct Europeisms. I have actually one question, but I have to approach it gradually. The first part of that question is, do you know what is the percentage of EU inhabitants which are not the bearers of Indo-European languages?
No, I don't
The
know.
answer is
by
3.
heart. Mm-hmm.
The second part of the question, is European Union aware of Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, which claims that the way you think, the way you are able to think, is straightly depending on your language?
Mm-hmm.
What do you personally think? Has European Union ever heard about this linguistic relativism hypothesis? Now my main question is European Union planning to address this 3% language minority in some very specific way, or is it continuing this political correctness, claiming that everything everywhere is equal?
I would say that it's not only claiming that they are equal. There is a genuine effort of we do our best to serve also non-Indo-European languages. I mean, but also we are aware of the current, let's say, limitations. And if you come up with a solution that could help these languages, we are very happy to hear from you.
You said current. To my best understanding, the first efforts for automatic translation started approximately 1956. Mm-hmm. It means that this current means already 60 years. Mm-hmm. And we still are looking for a solution.
Yes, we are fully aware of this. We are not pretending that it...
but no, really, the last question. What do you think whether the very possibility of precise translation into languages of those 3% of language bearers, whether this is a philosophical or technical question? Will the technology solve everything, even in the case when you when we hide our heads as some birds hide their heads in sand, do we have to recognize where the actual problem is? The languages differ, the mindsets behind those languages differ, or we simply address the world in a politically correct way and hope that might be the solution will resolve itself?
Well, no, please.
Well, I shall continue with those politically incorrect questions, if I may. Basically, I know you are a representative of the Commission, but you are also a Finn.
Mm-hmm.
And I might wonder if you might know what public services in Finland are translated by using those CEF-based automated solutions.
Well, I know that in the Prime Minister's office in Finland, they have deployed the MT at EC, an engine for themselves, and they are using it, they are experimenting it. The results are not fantastic yet, but if we never do anything, or if we never even try, and we really need the data in order to improve the technology. So I am fully aware that this is far from being not even, I mean, it may even not be usable right now, but we are really aiming at something which would be useful.
Hello, my name is Raul, and I'm not language people, so I have a bit question from different angle. One thing which hasn't been really transparent here for me is that basically I understand the Commission is dealing with these kind of things because there is a market failure. So the private sector doesn't kind of build up the machine translation solutions, so the Commission has to kind of step in and put some resources to it to develop these kind of things. Now, I also understand that actually what is needed to develop these kind of programs is a data, and you both refer that you need a data to have a better training for these machines.
Yes.
What is untransparent for me is how this data is actually used. Does it, because basically the translation memory is an intellectual property, and if I'm going to give it away from the public entity, then my question is, does it end up to the just very narrow companies, or would it be publicly available for the companies who get access to this data and can develop their own programs based on the open source access to this data? Because for me it seemed to me that actually there was 4 companies dealing with Commission, and there is a kind of question that can you give us a data to train these machines, but would it give a competitive edge for these 5 companies? And at the same time, would it be possible to kind of develop startups based on this data?
Yeah, it's a very relevant question, and we are going to talk about these during the day. Extremely relevant subjects. So these companies have a contract with the Commission, and we have commissioned them to organize the workshops and create awareness in member states, and also help us to collect the resources, and they will go only to this DGT IT units, DG translation, which is developing MT at EC. And there are different options for, there is possibility for anonymization, they give legal help, there are different options of protecting also your own data when it comes to us. And it will definitely never ever go to to public to private companies to be used for commercial purpose, maybe for research purposes. But these are all under discussion and have to be solved in the framework of the program, which runs until 2020. And these all different parameters of providing data. And the idea really here is to be in the public sphere and to serve public services and help them to create these platforms.
My question wasn't so much about protecting, because if I'm giving away as a public entity my translation memory, then actually I would give it in a way that not only one company could access it, but there would be possibilities for every company. So
Yes,
if the
yes,
public
but
entity
equal
gives it
access.
away,
Yes,
then
it's
it should
not
be
only
equal
for
access.
them. Yes,
This
if
would
we,
be
yeah,
better
that's
in
it.
the long
And
run.
Andres can also answer to this.
Yeah, if I may intervene. There's ongoing work of development of European open data portal. It's already open, but it's still being improved. It's a portal to provide access to all kind of data in an open data fashion. And these language resources, what will be collected in this activity and what will not have any additional restrictions in their distribution, or maybe individual contracts of some institution with the European Commission, but otherwise, in general, intention is to put all that data at this European open data portal so that everybody can use it. And actually, what we do in other countries, and what I very much hope a very good mechanism will establish here in Estonia, that national institutions that are dealing with open data and language resources are like a primary partners that also get immediate access to that data and make sure that this data is at the same time available through institutions like here. We are happy to have this Estonian Language Resource Center as a partner in this activity and as a national anchor point for this coordination action. So this is not just for Commission,
No.
but for everybody, for industry, for private sector also to benefit from this. And then, if I may, about market failure, actually in Europe we have situation that we have to deal with competition from global companies, from American companies, and we can benefit from fantastic how to say, huge investments in the defense sector. Actually, defense sector is a primary funding source for language technology development, DARPA program in States. And also, we can leverage the position on the global internet, like companies like Google, they do have all the data that's on the web on their servers. And this is why Google was able to develop Google Translate, because they have all the global data on their servers, and they can leverage that data. And in Europe, we do not have what Google has, but we do have European Commission, we do have this another cooperation mechanism, and we do have public demand for language technologies. And but it's important to somehow organize this work, and this is what this action is part of this pan-European work on advancing language technologies for European languages, not to depend on technologies from outside Europe.
Okay. Do you have any other immediate comments or questions? I'm very happy to to have them, please.
You mentioned many times pan-European public services. Mainly public services are provided today by national administrations. Can you give us the definition of DG Connect of pan-European public services?
Yes. In fact, there was the list. I should maybe go back. And in fact, I will also talk more about the DSIs in this afternoon. For example, Europeana was mentioned, and also the Open Data Portal. These are, let's say, national open data institutes, as Andre explained, will contribute to the Open Data Portal, and all the data set descriptions on the portal already are machine translated. If you want to go and have a look, the so-called metadata has been run through MT at EC. There is also the exchange of health information, EESSI. I will explain in the afternoon. The exchange of healthcare information between administrations. This is one of the use cases. And also open dispute resolution system where consumers can bring, let's say, a complaint about a consumer complaint to the administrations of another country, and this is also supported by multilingual support or automated translation. Some of the services used or intend to use or already use this machine translation service for information only. So first you have the raw machine translation, which is put on the website for information, for first information, and then a translator will do the final work, and then it will be republished as a full translation. So it's sort of, there are different use cases for this.
Just once more, a question about the e-procurement system. I think that this must be one of the cases where the automated translation is only partial, isn't it?
Right now the calls for tenders are not translated automatically by DG translation to all languages. They are fully translated to a language if a member state requires that. It's a full...
Are they fully automatically translated
No.
or fully translated?
They are now they are fully translated by human translators right now. But the aim is to have at least this for information translation like done by machine. Yes. Anything else? So you can please come and ask during the breaks or in the afternoon when I have my second presentation. I'm happy to answer or find out if I don't have the answer for you. Thank you.